What is up, everybody? My name is Alex, also known as McQueeb over on Twitch. Today I'd like to bring you something again a little bit different. Today we're going to be covering the game Neon Abyss. This game has taken me completely by surprise. I've spent over 50 hours in the last week playing it. I've been trying to learn as much as possible. In the roguelite category, knowledge is power, and this game is no different. One of the mechanics in the game is that occasionally you'll pick up eggs, and from these eggs hatch what's called pets, right? There's two types of pets. Followers, in other words, little tiny characters that float behind you and they do their own thing. The second is an orbital, so it's something that kind of just spins around the player, doing its own thing. Each of them have different properties. Now, 95% of these are great. They're amazing. They shoot characters, they walk into characters, some of them split and multiply and turn into copies of themselves. There's a bunch of stuff going on with them. There's a few, however, on this list that, well, I mean, I'd like to tell you to avoid them, but you really have no choice. Unless you're using a very specific character, you have no control over what comes out of the eggs. So here's my, I guess, top 4 worst pets in Neon Abyss. So what I'm going to do is read them out in order of least worst to worst. And I would love your feedback on this. This is as of the current version of the game, so we're still pre-release at this stage. I'm sure some of these are going to get tweaked a little bit, but well, you'll quickly find that they're anger-inducing, believe me. The worst least in this list is the grabber. Essentially, this guy is dressed in a business suit. He's running around the screen and he collects coins. That's frustrating enough as in itself, right? Because you can't access those coins. Occasionally, he will drop an item for you. I have never seen it drop anything greater than consumables. So shields, bombs, keys, other coins sometimes, which if you're not quick enough, he will just go straight back and collect again. It's really frustrating because the value of those items, in my opinion, isn't worth the money that's lost to this character. Now, when he dies, he does drop a pretty significant amount of money, somewhere in the order of 100 plus coins. That's extremely valuable, but the money in your pocket earlier could get you an item in the shop. It could change you from your starting gun into a much better gun that you find. There's a lot more uses, even though it's less money total than, after he dies. It's better in your pockets than his. They kind of need to tweak the balancing on this guy, maybe change the speed. Get this, okay? If a coin is flying through the air, he will catch it before it hits the ground. It's unreal to watch in action. Next on my list is the vibrant ball. Now, there's a couple of different types of orbitals. These are things that spin around the player, and they have different effects. They do different damage. Some of them protect you, etc. What sets the vibrant ball apart is the fact that it blocks all sorts of projectiles. The only thing it doesn't really block is beam weapons, okay? So if you have a beam weapon, it's much less of a threat. There's 2 reasons why it's on this list. One, if your bullets are stopped by the vibrant ball, you're going to lower your DPS. There's nothing to it, right? Especially if you have like a spread shot or lots and lots of projectiles. If that vibrant ball passes in front of you, those projectiles stop. If you have a shield modifier on the bullets, you might even be able to save yourself if you had more shots. That's negated. You're doing less damage. That's point number 1. Point number 2, and probably the most important, this is something people are going to learn really, really quickly about this pet. If you have an explosive projectile or a rocket and it hits the vibrant ball, not only does it stop, so in other words, you're not again doing that damage elsewhere, it explodes and you take damage. That's huge. On some of the characters like R6, for example, the robot character, you've only got shields in very limited supply. That's game changing, right? So as much as I would like to again say, do not get the vibrant ball, you don't have a choice. If you're on an egg run, most of the times you are, it's very difficult not to pick up eggs. You're gonna see the vibrant ball quite often. Probably the most infuriating thing is when you've got grenades, especially when they're in limited quantity, and you're kind of like, oh great, I've got 2 grenades, I know I can open that door over there. You run over there, you've got the vibrant ball, you're not paying quite enough attention, and your grenade hits the vibrant ball. You lose the grenade, and it explodes, taking us back to the point where you take damage. Brilliant. The second worst pet, in my opinion, is Peter. Peter is a cat. It pains me to say that a cat is breaking my heart because I love the animals in real life. In this game, Peter is the worst. From its description, a playful kitty. He collects hearts and brings you moldy hearts. On death, he drops a random number of hearts. So moldy hearts, in case you weren't aware, have a chance to heal you or hurt you. I don't know the exact math, but I would say it's close to 50-50. If you see a moldy heart on the ground, and it's very obvious, it's literally the heart with like green, gross stuff on it. If you see it, just avoid it. Don't even tempt fate. Unless you've got a ton of health and you can afford it, but at that stage, just avoid it. Trust me on this one. Moldy hearts are an unlockable rule in the game, so it's an extra item that can appear in the game if you've spent the points to unlock it. You kind of have to unlock it if you want to know the location of the secret room on the second stage, but again, I haven't done it. I've unlocked a ton of stuff in the game and I haven't touched the moldy heart. My heart's not in it at the moment. I just can't do it. The upside to this, if you can call it that, is when he's partnered with the Blue Doctor. So the Blue Doctor collects hearts and has a chance to give you shields. Okay, that chance again is pretty slim. He doesn't drop many heals for the number of hearts that he picks up, but at least it takes away the threat of the moldy hearts being on the playfield. It's Peter, again, pains me to say it, but I hate you, man. I'm sorry. And the very, very worst pet in the game, in my opinion, and this might actually take people by surprise, is Jack, the clown. Obviously, that's a reference to Jack Nicholson playing the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman. His description when you initially get him is he fires bullets in random directions. Okay. Not too bad, right? Not the most helpful pet, but at least he's doing something. The problem comes when he evolves. When he evolves into stage 2, he starts throwing little colored, playful explosives, I guess the kind of explosives clowns use? Maybe? Now these explosives, they sit on the ground and they explode after a period of time. The great thing is, none of these explosives hurt the player, right? The problem is that the explosion causes the player character to fly across the screen, sometimes quite dramatically, like I'm talking the other side of the screen. That puts you in situations that you can't control. When all of these explosions are going off, the screen becomes very chaotic. This only gets worse when he evolves again into stage 3. Instead of the colorful little playful explosives that he throws incendiary grenades. Who thought that was a good idea? To say he throws a few grenades would be an understatement. Whenever there's an enemy left alive on the screen, he'll just keep lobbing grenades. Now, yes, if you're clever, you can use this to your advantage. Let's say there's an enemy sort of outside of danger zone, like on the very opposite side of the screen where it's not really a threat to you, especially stationary enemies or enemies that don't really move all that much. He'll throw grenades kind of all over the place, and occasionally it can explode concrete walls, concrete chests, that kind of thing. So if you're low on grenades, maybe you'll get lucky. Not worth it. Trust me, when you start flying around the screen, you're going to add him to your list as well. Speaking of lists, if you would like to make your own, or you have ideas on how I can change this, or you have differing opinions, honestly, I think I got this one pretty much nailed down. Every single other pet in the game is fine, except for these 4. Peter, you're still the worst. Please leave the comments down below. I would love to get your feedback on this. I'm going to be producing a lot of content for Neon Abyss. I've spent so much time with the game. I'm very, very addicted. I've been streaming it heavily over on Twitch. And heck, if you've got some free time, come join me over there. You can find me at twitch.tv/McQueeb. That's McQueeb. I'll see you next time.